Today, we explore how revitalizing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM initiatives, is crucial for driving economic growth and addressing skills gaps in Malaysia. Also, what strategic approaches are needed to enhance STEM education, and what is its impact on investment and industry development? I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Money Matters. Welcome to your favorite channel, TV3, which you can also stream on Tonton. And as promised, today on Money Matters, we are talking about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or the STEM education strategy, and how this will impact our country's economy. And to take us through this discussion, in the studio today, I am joined by the chairman of PIKOM, or the National Tech Association of Malaysia, Mr. Ong Chin Seong. Hi, Ong. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Money Matters.
Thank you, Azaria. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great that we could have you here today with us on the show to take us through this discussion about STEM and the STEM education training in Malaysia. So, as we promised just now, we're going to take a look at how STEM is actually impacting Malaysia's economic growth. So, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has actually emphasized a need for advanced STEM training in order to attract foreign investments. So how do you see Malaysia's current STEM education strategy addressing this high-level training needs in order to boost Malaysia's economic growth?
Yeah, maybe first thing, let us understand this Malaysia current STEM education
certainly.
strategies. In fact, this is for the education of the highest institute of highest education learning. So government has started this program since the year of 2013 to 2025 that put a lot of emphasis on the STEM education as a critical education started from the very early age. And the government aims to increase this STEM students, the rate to 60% by the year of 2030 in order to support the growth of the country and the digital economy. So, but I doubt we have achieved along the way. And I think with the current Prime Minister that have been mentioned about, they see the declining. But when we look at the data, in fact, the declining was in the year of 2020 and 2021, which is, it fell from 40 plus to 40%. But then the last 2-3 years, you see, actually it started to pick it up. And today, if you look at the data on 2024, it was 47%, I think, this year, comparing to the last year was, I think, 47% this year, comparing to last year was around 43, if I'm not wrong. So we see the government have been putting in a lot of effort to increase the interest of the young students going into the STEM.
Yeah, that's interesting because we also want to touch on that. There's this need to revitalize interest in STEM because the Prime Minister has also mentioned as one of the points of focus that there has been declining student interest in STEM education. So what do you think should be the steps that should be taken to sort of reverse this trend and increase the interest among students? Because this is actually one of the ways for us to create a steady talent pipeline, which is crucial for Malaysia's economic growth.
I would think the current ministries that are handling it on, for example, like Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education, plus a Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. In fact, there are initiatives like, for example, they call it Tech Olympics, It's like the Olympics of technology and markets labs, and also the National Science Weeks, plus various workshops that they have been organized. In fact, to expose this student at a very early, young age on, for example, like 3D printings, and also drone technology, robotics. So this is something that shall continue to increase, but at the level of the entire nation. Not maybe, most of the time I can see it could be only at KL, Klang Valley, maybe Penang, Johor Bahru. So these are the biggest states that they will enjoy all this. But we should look at, roll it out in the whole entire nation. So, and the government also seek cooperation from the industry to form a better collaboration together and the engagement with the education institution. For example, like PIKOM is a members of the government, industry, technical and vocational education training. They call it coordination body, GITC, and TVET Industry Relation Network Committee. So these committees, in fact, drives the industry-led TVET empowerment agenda and play the key role of being unified source of the inputs from the industry towards the development of the TVET for the country and prepare the industry need future workforce. So this is something that PIKOM is doing for the industry and the country. But personally, I feel there's a room for a lot of improvement since the student interest in the STEM few years back are declining. So the existing initiative by the various ministry, and maybe I would think today we also have a digital ministry. They may even also have to do something together with the Ministry of Higher Education.
Now, you also mentioned about TVET, and TVET is also one of the focuses moving forward by the government and also the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. We want to find out about that more and how it's actually working to sustain the investment momentum in Malaysia. But we'll get to that in a bit, because now it's time for us to go for a short break. When we come back, more about STEM education strategy in Malaysia and how it's driving Malaysia's economy moving forward. Money Matters will be back after this. Don't go anywhere. Hello there, welcome back to Money Matters. You're still with me, Azaria Tagaya, and I'm still speaking to Ong Chin Seong, the chairman of PIKOM, the National Tech Association of Malaysia. Now, Ong, before the break, we promised to touch a little bit on AI education and also TVET. But before we get to that, before we went for the break, we talked about declining interest in STEM education. But the Prime Minister has also pointed out gaps in engineering skills and the need for higher efficiency in Malaysia. So what do you think would be the most effective ways to actually address these gaps and ultimately try to enhance Malaysia's competitiveness, not just regionally, but on a global stage?
I would think these gaps is not the effective or the efficiency of the students. Maybe there could be one part of it, but the main part, it is the technology growing at a faster speed, which is the supply of the talents are not enough, not fast enough to catch this gap.
Yeah.
So maybe the short term, the solution is to bring in the labor, the skilled workforce from international, which is there are certain countries that they are able to supply a lot of this skilled workforce. Then the second part is maybe we also have a lot of international students coming in to our university here, study, whether be it the national university and the private university. Give them the work permit once they graduate. So this is also something that you are able to be immediately solve this gap in the short term.
Yeah.
And maybe in the midterms, we can leverage on the TVET students for the less complicated engineering work. So, but what is important, all these skills are able to be fill up the job gap. So, and then in the longer terms is our initiative needed to be include the industry academy partnership, collaborative with the research project, internships, and equips students with the practical skills and industry relevant knowledge. In fact, this can be increased their productivity, prepare them in a very short period of time to serve the industry. So this is something that PIKOM today currently is working together with many universities in Malaysia.
I see.
And also the organization should also embrace digital technologies and automations, as it can significantly enhance the efficiency across the industry. And with this automation, in fact, there is a possibility that you will be able to reduce the manpower. So, and this is also one of the ways that you can overcome this gap. And I would encourage many companies to invest in the research and the development. So this will boost productivity and create new job opportunities for the countries. And what we need is the country, the government, to provide maybe more tax incentive to this research and the development. Because as per today, I think the country is about invest about maybe 1% of the total GDP. But you look at all those advanced countries, their research and the development normally is 3% and above to their country GDP. So we are so little at 1% only.
Okay, so there's a need to look into that
Yeah.
aspect as well in order to address the engineering skills gaps. Okay, so picking up where we left off before the break about TVET and also AI education, let's take a step back and look at the reports that Malaysia's approved investments in 2023 was actually recorded at 329.5 billion ringgit, which is a 23% increase than the year before, and also the highest approved investments in the country's history. So taking a look at this, and with the Prime Minister's focus on sustaining this 329.5 billion ringgit investment momentum, and also on the back of that, we have this focus on TVET and AI education moving forward. So how do you think the recent government policies on TVET and AI, how is it expected to impact Malaysia's growth moving forward?
Okay, I think the National TVET Policy 2030, in fact, aims to create a skilled workforce by aligning to support the Industry 4.0 technologies, focusing on emerging fields like AI and robotics. So these initiatives are designed to bridge the skill gaps, increase the employability, and prepare Malaysians for the future dynamic global markets. So AI education is being integrated into the national curriculums at the various levels with substantial investment in AI research and development. So the funding, just now you mentioned about the investment, 300 over million.
Billion, yeah.
In fact, all this include the AI labs and partnership with the tech companies. So continues to provide professional development and programs to upskill the existing workforce. And this policy, in fact, are expected to create jobs and in high demand sectors, increase employability, and also support Malaysia's goal of achieving sustainable economic growth. And if we look at the World Economic Forum in 2023, last year, has pointed out that in each of the 10 jobs, 8 will be in need to be in the digital fields. And the other 2, in fact, somehow or other, it related to this digital field as well. So it means that all this much of the foreign investment, FDI, that comes into the Malaysia will require high skills that are STEM related. And gone are the days of the low-end type of manufacturing that requires low-skill workforce.
All right. Well, Ong, I'm sorry I have to cut you off in your train of thought there, but it's time for us to take another short break. When we come back on Money Matters, we're going to talk about local skills trading and its influence in attracting investment in Malaysia. All that and more coming up on Money Matters. Welcome back to Money Matters. Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking to the National Tech Association of Malaysia PIKOM Chairman, Ong Chin Seong. Now, Ong, before the break, I teased a little bit about this next question. We want to focus on the influence of local skills training. Now, how does the emphasis on local skills training by foreign companies, as mentioned by the Prime Minister, how does this influence Malaysia's whole business environment and also attractiveness for investment?
I think this local skill training by the foreign companies definitely is very important, a key. If we look at our recent drop in our global competitiveness was from 27 last year, I think, or maybe previous year, we have dropped to 34. And this kind of position, according to the IMD, could be partially attributed to our skill, competency, and the productivity at our workforce. So, continues to invest in the upskilling and the reskilling is definitely important for all those foreign companies and also the local companies to stay competitiveness, and also as a nation needed to carry out. And so the emphasis of the local training by the foreign companies for the upskilling is crucial for attracting high-tech industries and ensuring that the local talent can meet the demands of emerging sectors such as semiconductors, autonomous, AIs, all sorts of new technology coming up. By enhancing skills to this international level, Malaysia positions itself as a competitive player in the global market. So this alignment with the global standard can attract multinational corporations looking for reliable and the skilled labor pools. And then we also are able to reduce the dependency on the foreign labor, which is promoting the growth of the local talents. This approach, in fact, is aligned to the Malaysian Bandani concept, and which is aims to create a knowledgeable and a skilled society for the country.
Indeed, indeed. Now, the shortage of high-level engineers has also been identified by the Prime Minister and the government as one of the critical issues that we should pay more attention to moving forward. So, in your opinion, what should be some of the immediate actions that can be taken to address this shortage and also to inevitably support Malaysia's industrial growth moving forward?
So, I think as per earlier reply, we focus on allowing the flow of the talents coming into the countries and also keep the talents that is coming out from the university in the countries. In fact, today, which is we know, is close to maybe 30% of the Malaysian students, university graduates, maybe 25, but I would say 25 to 30% are, once they graduate, they will just look elsewhere, out of the countries. So this is something, a big problem that as a country, we have to think about a way to resolve. And then we also have to foster the collaboration in between the industry and the academics to ensure the research and the development efforts and curriculums are aligned to the market demands, and implement targeted upskilling and reskilling programs for the existing engineers and the professionals in the related fields, and provide tax incentives, grants, and subsidies to companies that invest in training and development programs for the engineers, and this can motivate the businesses to contribute to the pool of the talents. and establish public-private partnership to create specialized training center and innovation labs that focus on the advanced engineering skills and technology.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so we've almost come to the tail end of our discussion today, and we've talked about so much on how to improve STEM education moving forward and how it can actually impact Malaysia's economic growth and the whole industrial growth. But as a way to wrap up our discussion today, taking a look at all the directives by the Prime Minister and also the government, what do you think, what do you propose would be the strategies that could be used to improve STEM education and ensure alignment with the needs of these high-end industries in light of what has been said by the Prime Minister and the government so far?
I think one of the strategies that important for us to immediately review the STEM program that we have been started in the year of 2013 and is going to be end at the year of 2025. I know there's a review, but what is next is important to chart a direction for the countries for a short term, 3, then 5 midterms, and then long term, 10-year strategies on the education. It doesn't mean the earlier program is not meeting the target, but if possible, the industry is growing too fast. As today, the AI, if I can use the speed to tell you that, you know, each 6 months, AI technology is growing at 10 times X. If in between the years, 10X and 10X is 100 times kind of a speed. So for that kind of a requirement, it means that you need enough talents pool to supply to the industry. And the government needed to work together with the industry. Then only to know what are the technologies and the trends coming. Like just now I mentioned about, we work together very closely with a lot of ministries. So this is something that, you know, we will be able to be fit the information on what are the trends coming up and for them to align the education plan. But one fundamental, actually, it did not change. That is science and mathematics. As long as the students are strong in these 2 areas, they are ready to adapt to any new technologies world. So it means that anyone who go into the science streams is like, you know, their future is guaranteed. And this is something attractive for all these people. Although, and I would think we required the school, maybe the Ministry of Education, needed to set up every school need to a special task force, work together with the parent, hand in hand.
Indeed. So basically a holistic approach is needed in order to drive STEM forward. Well, Ong, it has been amazing speaking to you, but that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for making time with us and sharing your expertise on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Ong Chin Seong, the National Tech Association of Malaysia PIKOM Chairman, joining us for the past 30 minutes. And if you've joined us for this whole show as well, thank you as well for watching today. And remember, if you missed any part of today's program, you can always catch it up on Tonton. As for us on Money Matters, we'll be back again, same time, same place next week with more in-depth discussions. So until then, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.